If you're looking for an online therapist to help you overcome your anxiety, and especially if you're struggling with agoraphobia, then please go to my website and learn more about this online therapy service that I provide over Skype. It's very important that you seek help if you're suffering from agoraphobia. This condition can be overcome with hard work. As long as you take a focused approach, you will be able to overcome your agoraphobia. I have helped many people over the years overcome their anxiety and panic attacks by applying the methods of mindfulness therapy. This is a system of mindfulness-based psychotherapy that I have developed over the years for working with anxiety and depression and also agoraphobia. So being able to see an online therapist is of course very important if you're suffering from agoraphobia because it's so difficult to go and see a psychotherapist in his or her office. So online therapy is often the only option. Now, if you're considering online therapy, you must make sure that you work with someone who uses Skype or a similar video service so that you can see each other. This is the important thing. You must be able to see each other in order to have good quality psychotherapy. If you can see each other online through Skype, then there's really no difference in the effectiveness of online therapy compared to meeting a therapist in person. In fact, I often find that it's more effective than meeting in person, simply because you feel more comfortable, more at ease, and this makes the therapy experience much more effective. So there are definite advantages to working online as long as you use Skype or a similar video platform. So how do we go about overcoming agoraphobia? Well, from my experience working with people over the years, the best approach must include some form of exposure therapy. And this has led me to develop a system that I call mindfulness-based exposure therapy, which is extremely effective. And many people I've worked with have been able to overcome their anxiety within a matter of a few weeks when they start to apply the mindfulness-based methods. And these I will teach you during our Skype therapy sessions together. So the important thing is taking a very strategic and focused approach to exposure therapy. You have to prepare very well before you do each of your challenges. You have to basically rehearse the challenge in your imagination, taking care of any anxiety reactions that may occur. You have to do this before you do the exposure challenge. Then when you do the exposure challenge, it's basically reinforcing the changes that you have made during your training before the challenge. So typically in mindfulness-based exposure therapy, I will have you imagine doing the challenge, playing it through in the mind, looking for those anxiety reactions, and then engaging in a process that effectively neutralizes those habitual anxiety reactions. So those anxiety reactions are basically habits. They are habitual in nature. And like any habit, they operate subconsciously without our conscious involvement. We suffer at the hands of these anxiety habits. But when you start to bring mindfulness to these habits, you start to change that relationship so they're no longer subconscious, blind, conditioned reactions. You begin to develop a totally different relationship to those anxiety reactions. In this relationship that we will be developing, you become the observer. The anxiety reaction is simply an object that you observe. Seeing that anxiety reaction as an object already begins to create space between you and the anxiety. So this neutralizes this process that we call reactive identification, where you essentially contract into the emotion. So by training with those anxiety reactions, you can overcome that process of reactive identification. And this is really important because this stops the reactive processes that follow that tend to feed that anxiety and keep it alive. When you stop feeding the anxiety, then the anxiety is free to change. And it will change. It will resolve itself. It will heal if you stop feeding it through reactive identification. So we learn to hold the anxiety in our mind without becoming identified with it. We then learn how to respond to that anxiety in a way that helps it heal. So healing is a very important feature of mindfulness therapy. We're interested in healing the emotion itself. And we do this by developing a compassionate relationship with the emotion. We see the emotion very much like a child. It's in pain. We go to it with compassion to help it heal. So in that process, you become the parent. The child heals because of that relationship. When it's very strong, the healing is very fast. And it's the same with our emotions, with our fears. We need to bring this same kind of quality of compassion and non-reactivity to bear on that emotion. That's what causes healing to happen. So we cultivate a conscious relationship by holding the anxiety in our mind. We develop this compassionate relationship to it that helps it heal. And there are other factors too that we can bring into mindfulness therapy that speed up this natural process of healing. But it's really the important thing here is that you focus conscious awareness, mindfulness, on that emotion. That is the key ingredient that allows it to heal and how allows you to break free from those conditioned reactive habits that cause the anxiety. So if you'd like to learn more about working with an online psychotherapist who specializes in mindfulness therapy, then please go to my website and feel free to contact me if you have any questions. If you'd like to schedule a Skype session with me, then please fill out the contact form on the contact page and tell me more about yourself and any questions you may have, and what times work for you, and then we can schedule a Skype therapy session. Most people see quite substantial improvements after the first 3 or 4 sessions. The key here is that I'll be teaching you methods, tools that you can apply yourself between sessions to basically make a list of exposure challenges, and then do the meditation work with mindfulness to neutralize the anxiety before you do the challenge, and then you do the challenge and you process any anxiety that may have gotten triggered, and you process that and you neutralize that, and then you might repeat the challenge again after a suitable period of rest. And we keep cycling through these challenges until each one becomes completely free from anxiety. So this way we're really building up the direct experience of fearlessness. We're helping the anxiety heal. We're training with it to help it heal in these specific situations. So if you take this kind of very focused approach, you will see results in a very short time. So please contact me if you would like to get started with overcoming your agoraphobia. Thank you.